The stars looked peaceful through the bridge windows of the colony ship Harmony. Captain Jiwoo Kim stood with his hands behind his back, watching the endless darkness of space. His ship carried 50,000 people to their new home. Families with children, old people who wanted to see one more sunrise on a new world, young couples ready to build their dreams. "Captain, we're 3 hours from the jump point to Kepler system," said Navigator Taeho at his station. The young man had been with Jiwoo for 5 years. He trusted him completely. Jiwoo nodded. "Good. Tell Dr. Park to prepare the medical bay for jump sickness. Some of the children might need help." Dr. Minho Park was already walking onto the bridge. At 38, he was one of the best doctors in the galaxy. He chose to come on this colony mission because he believed in helping people start new lives. "Captain, all medical stations are ready. The families are excited. I saw little Susie drawing pictures of what her new house will look like." Engineer Hyun Lee looked up from his computer screen. "All systems are working perfectly, Captain. The engines are running smooth. Life support is at 100%. We should reach New Seoul Colony site in 6 days." Commander Yuna Choi entered the bridge. As head of security, she always checked everything twice. "Sir, I just finished walking through the ship." Everyone is happy and calm. The children are playing games. The adults are planning their new farms and businesses. Jiwoo smiled. This was what he loved about colony missions. Hope. People believing in tomorrow. After 30 years in space, he had seen wars and battles. "Now we helped families find peace, Captain." Taeho's voice was sharp with worry. "I'm getting readings on long-range sensors. 4 ships are moving toward us. Big ones." The peaceful feeling on the bridge disappeared. Jiwoo moved to the sensor display. The ships were huge. Military design. Unknown but familiar style. "Can you identify them?" Jiwoo asked. Hyun worked fast on his computer. "Running the database now. Captain, these are Vorthak Empire ships. 1 flagship, 3 escort vessels. They're coming straight for us." Everyone on the bridge knew about the Vorthak. They were bullies. Mean and cruel. They believed might made right. The Galactic Federation had rules about them, but the Vorthak only followed rules when it helped them. "Are they in Federation space?" Yuna asked. "No," Taeho said quietly. "We're in neutral space. No one's protection out here." Dr. Park looked worried. "Captain, why would they want to stop a colony ship?" "We're just families." Jiwoo had a bad feeling in his stomach. The Vorthak didn't stop ships to say hello. "Red alert! All hands to stations. This is not a drill." Warning lights flashed through the ship. People would be scared, but they needed to know something was wrong. Parents would hold their children. Everyone would wait to see what happened. The Vorthak ships were getting closer. On the main screen, Jiwoo could see the flagship. It was dark and covered with weapons. It looked like a giant metal beast with teeth. "They're sending a message," Taeho reported. "Put it on screen." The face that appeared made everyone on the bridge step back. War Master Krell of the Vorthak Empire looked like nightmare made real. His skin was gray and rough like stone. His eyes were black holes. When he smiled, his teeth were sharp like knives. "Human ship." Krell's voice was like grinding metal. "You will stop your engines. You will prepare for boarding. Your ship and everyone on it now belongs to the Vorthak Empire." Jiwoo kept his voice calm. "This is Captain Kim of the colony ship Harmony. We are peaceful civilians traveling to establish a new settlement. We have children and families aboard. Please allow us to continue our journey." Krell laughed. The sound made everyone's skin crawl. "Peaceful. Yes, humans always say they are peaceful. That is why you make such good slaves. Your families will work in our mines. Your children will serve our warriors. You should be honored. We are protected by Galactic Federation law." Jiwoo tried again. "Attacking civilians is against all treaties. We are in neutral space, human. No laws here except the strong taking from the weak. And humans are always weak," Dr. Park whispered. "There are 5,000 children on this ship." Krell heard him. "Good. Children learn to obey faster than adults. They will make excellent servants." Something changed in the air on the bridge. Jiwoo felt it. The others felt it too. It was like a cold wind blowing through space. "You have 1 minute to surrender," Krell continued, "or we will take your ship by force. Many of you will die. Choose wisely, weak humans." The screen went dark. For a moment no one spoke. Then Yuna said quietly, "Captain, they have us outgunned. 4 military ships against 1 colony vessel." Jiwoo looked at his crew. Good people. People who chose to help families find new homes instead of fighting wars. But now they faced an enemy who wanted to hurt children. "Hyun," Jiwoo said slowly. How long to bring the old systems online? The engineer's eyes widened. Captain, those systems haven't been used in over a century. Are you sure? 5,000 children, Hyun. Families who trust us to keep them safe. Hyun's fingers flew over his controls. Give me 2 minutes. Dr. Park looked confused. What old systems? Yuna was already moving to another station. Doctor, this ship wasn't always a colony vessel. All civilians to emergency stations, Jiwoo announced over the ship's speakers. Secure all areas. This is not a drill. Through the bridge windows, the Vorthak ships were getting bigger. Weapons were charging. They thought they were hunting helpless prey. 30 seconds until they opened fire, Taiho reported. Jiwoo opened a final channel to the Vorthak flagship. War Master Krell, I'm going to give you one last chance. Turn around. Leave this space. Forget you ever saw us. Krell appeared on screen again, laughing. Stupid human. You think words will save you? Watch as we burn your ship and take your families. I tried to warn you, Jiwoo said quietly. You just violated the oldest rule in the galaxy. What rule is that, weak human? Jiwoo's eyes went cold as winter stars. Never provoke humans when their families are in danger. The Vorthak War Master was still laughing when the first plasma bolts fired toward the Harmony. That was when he learned that some rules exist for very good reasons, and some sleeping giants should never be awakened. The plasma bolts from the Vorthak ships lit up space like deadly fireworks. They struck the Harmony's shields with tremendous force. The whole ship shook. People screamed in the corridors. Children cried for their parents, but the shields held. War Master Krell stopped laughing. His black eyes stared at the human ship with surprise. Impossible. Colony ships don't have military shields. On the bridge of the Harmony, Engineer Hyun Lee's hands moved across his controls like a pianist playing a deadly song. Shields at 90%. Backup power systems coming online. Captain, I can give you what you need. Dr. Minho Park looked around in confusion. I don't understand. How do we have military shields? This is a medical and colony ship. Captain Jiwoo Kim kept watching the enemy vessels. Doctor, what do you know about Earth's history before we joined the Galactic Federation? We were explorers, scientists. We reached for the stars seeking knowledge and peace. Yuna Choi laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. That's what we tell other species. The truth is different. Hyun, show him the real ship records. The main screen changed. Instead of showing space, it showed blueprints, technical drawings. The ship they stood on looked nothing like the peaceful colony vessel everyone thought it was. This ship was built during the Unification Wars, Hyun explained while his hands never stopped working. Back when humans fought each other for control of Earth and the first colonies. It was called the Vengeance then, one of the most feared warships ever built. Dr. Park stared at the blueprints. But it's been carrying families, children, medical supplies. Yes, Jiwoo said. After the wars ended and we joined the Federation, many warships were converted for peaceful use. New hulls built around old bones, weapons removed, gardens planted. But the bones remember what they were made for. Another wave of plasma bolts struck the ship. This time they barely felt it. Krell's voice came over the communications again. Human tricks will not save you. We will break your shields and take your ship. He doesn't know, Yuna said with a cold smile. She was working at the tactical station now. Lights were coming on that had been dark for 100 years. None of them know. Know what? Dr. Park asked. Hyun looked up from his work. Doctor, why do you think humans were welcomed into the Galactic Federation so easily? Why do you think every species was eager to make friends with us? Because we're peaceful. Because we offered to share our knowledge. No, Jiwoo said quietly. Because they were afraid of what we'd do if they didn't. The ship was changing around them. Hull plates that looked like decoration were sliding back to reveal weapon ports. The gentle hum of life support systems was joined by the deeper sound of charging energy banks. Lights that had been warm and welcoming turned blue and cold. 150 years ago, Yuna explained, humans scared the galaxy. We fought wars that lasted decades. We built weapons that could crack planets. When we finally stopped fighting each other and looked up at the stars, every other species held their breath. The Federation offered us membership not as a reward, Hyun added, but as a peace treaty. Join us, they said. Follow our laws. Be civilized. And we agreed because we were tired of war. Dr. Park watched the transformation of his ship with wide eyes. So all this time we've been sheep pretending to be wolves, Jiwoo said. Until today. Today, wolves pretended to be sheep. The Vorthak ships were repositioning. Krell was no fool. He could see something was different about the human vessel. "Human captain," came his voice again. "You have hidden weapons. This changes nothing. 4 ships against 1. You cannot win." Jiwoo opened the channel. "War Master, you still don't understand. This isn't about winning or losing anymore. This is about teaching." "Teaching what?" "Teaching the galaxy why that old rule exists." Hyun looked up from his station. "Captain, all systems are online. Weapons charged. Engines ready. Should I engage the Hunter protocols?" Dr. Park had never heard that term before. Hunter protocols? Yuna was smiling now, and it made her look dangerous. "Doctor, what's the difference between a sheep and a wolf?" Wolves hunt sheep?" "No," she said. "Sheep run away. Wolves hunt in packs." The main screen changed again. Now it showed space around them, but not the way they'd seen it before. New contacts were appearing on the sensors. "Lots of them. What am I looking at?" Dr. Park whispered. "Every human ship within 50 light years," Taiho said from his navigation station. "Cargo vessels, exploration ships, research stations, even some passenger liners. They're all coming here?" Jiwoo nodded. "Doctor, activate your medical emergency beacon." "Tell me what happens." Dr. Park pressed a button on his medical station. Immediately, every ship on the sensor display changed course toward them. "They're responding to a medical emergency," Dr. Park said. "Confused." "Now imagine," Yuna said. "What happens when we send a different kind of signal?" "Hyun." The engineer pressed a sequence of keys. Across the ship, a new sound began. Low and deep like a heartbeat. "Like a war drum, what is that?" "That," Jiwoo said, "is a sound the galaxy hasn't heard in 150 years. It's the sound every human ship makes when one of our own is threatened." On the screen, the approaching ships were changing. Just like the harmony, they were revealing their true nature. Cargo vessels sprouted weapons. Exploration ships deployed armor. Research stations became mobile fortresses. War Master Krell's face appeared on screen again. But he wasn't laughing anymore. "This is impossible. Humans are peaceful. The Federation treaties, the treaties," Jiwoo said calmly, "say we can't start wars. They don't say we can't finish them. You have children on that ship, your own families. You would risk them?" Dr. Park stepped forward. "War Master, you threatened our children first. Now you're about to learn the difference between humans at peace and humans at war. One last warning," Jiwoo said. "Leave now. Take your ships and go. Pretend this never happened." Krell's face twisted with rage. "Never, we do not run from weak prey." "Then you're about to learn," Yuna said quietly, "why we're not the prey." The Vorthak ships opened fire with everything they had. Plasma cannons, missile launchers, energy beams that could cut through asteroid belts. The space around the Harmony lit up like a deadly star. When the light faded, the Harmony was still there. "Shields glowing, weapons charging, and absolutely undamaged. Impossible," Krell whispered. "No," Jiwoo said. "Just human. Hyun, show them what we learned in the old wars." The Harmony moved, but it didn't move like a big, slow colony ship. It moved like a hunting shark. Fast, smooth, deadly. And War Master Krell finally began to understand the mistake he had made. War Master Krell thought the nightmare was over. His ships were disabled, but his crews were alive. The humans had won, but they showed mercy. Maybe he could return home and pretend this never happened. Then his communications officer spoke with a trembling voice. "War Master, I'm receiving a priority transmission from the Vorthak High Command." "Put it through," Krell ordered. "Hoping for rescue." The face that appeared on his screen was General Vex, Supreme Commander of all Vorthak forces. His stone-gray features were twisted with anger. "Krell, you fool. You attacked a human ship?" "General, they were just civilians. A colony vessel with families and children. And now the entire galaxy knows you broke the oldest rule," Vex roared. "Every news network, every government, every species has seen the battle recordings. Do you have any idea what you've done?" Krell felt cold fear in his stomach. "Sir, I don't understand. The humans are mobilizing, you idiot. Not just their civilian ships. They're real military. The fleets they've kept hidden for over a century. The weapons they promised never to use again." On the bridge of the Harmony, Captain Jiwoo Kim was receiving his own priority transmission. The face on his screen belonged to Admiral Soyeon Kim, his older sister and commander of the 7th Human Fleet. "Jiwoo," she said, and her voice was like winter ice. "Are you and the family safe?" "Yes, sister. The immediate threat is contained. But Soyeon, I know. I've seen the recordings. The whole galaxy has seen them. Her eyes were hard as steel. A Vorthak War Master threatened human children on live galactic broadcast. Do you know what that means? Dr. Minho Park, standing nearby, whispered to Commander Yuna Choi. What does it mean? It means, Yuna said quietly, that every human in the galaxy just remembered why we used to be feared. On the main screen, space began to change. New contacts appeared on the sensors, big ones, moving fast. Engineer Hyun Lee looked up from his station with wide eyes. Captain, I'm reading massive hyperspace signatures. Something big is coming. How big? Jiwoo asked. Bigger than anything I've ever seen. The first ship that emerged from hyperspace was like a moving city, 3 kilometers long, bristling with weapons that had been hidden for generations. Then came another. And another. War Master Krell watched his sensors with growing horror. What are those? His tactical officer checked and rechecked his readings. Sir, those are human warships, real ones. The kind from the old stories. The old stories are myths. No, sir, the officer whispered. They're not. The ships kept coming. Dozens of them, each one larger and more powerful than anything in the current galactic fleets. These weren't converted civilian vessels with hidden weapons. These were purpose-built instruments of war. Admiral Soyeon Kim's image appeared on all communication channels. Broadcast across the galaxy. Attention all species and governments, she began, her voice calm but carrying the promise of storms. This is Admiral Kim of the Human Defense Force. Today, Vorthak military forces attacked a civilian colony ship carrying 5,000 families, including children. Across the galaxy, alien leaders watched with growing fear. They remembered the stories their grandparents told. Stories of human warships that could crack moons, human tactics that could defeat fleets 10 times their size, human determination that never, ever stopped. For 150 years, Admiral Kim continued, humanity has kept the peace. We've followed Federation law. We've hidden our weapons and pretended to be just another peaceful species. On Earth, in the great archives buried beneath the oceans, ancient systems came online for the first time in over a century. Automated factories began building weapons that had been forgotten. Ships that existed only in classified files received activation codes. But today, the Admiral's voice grew colder. Someone chose to threaten human families, to attack human children, to violate the oldest rule in the galaxy. War Master Krell was trying to contact his own government begging for help, but the response he received made his blood freeze. Krell, came the voice of the Vorthak Emperor himself. You are hereby stripped of rank and command. You and your crews are exiled. The Vorthak Empire will not protect you from what is coming. Your Majesty, please. They're just humans. Fool, the Emperor hissed. They're not just anything. They're the reason every species in the galaxy learned to cooperate. They're the nightmare we all agreed to forget. Dr. Park was trying to understand what was happening around him. The gentle colony ship he'd known was now the center of the largest military fleet ever assembled. Captain, I still don't understand. Why is everyone so afraid? Jiwoo looked at the doctor with sad eyes. Minho, before humans joined the Federation, we fought a war that lasted 300 years. Earth's unification wars weren't just about controlling one planet. They were about survival. But that was just one planet. How does that scare the galaxy? Yuna answered. Doctor, during those wars, humans developed weapons that could destroy stars, tactics that could turn entire solar systems into traps. We learned to fight like cornered animals because that's what we were. When we finally reached space, Hyun added, we brought those weapons with us. We brought that desperation, that willingness to do anything to protect our own. On the main screen, more human ships continued to arrive. Some looked normal, like civilian vessels. Others were clearly warships from another age. But all of them moved with the same deadly purpose. The first alien species we met, Jiwoo continued, tried to conquer us. They thought humans would be easy prey. Do you know what happened to them? Dr. Park shook his head. They don't exist anymore, Yuna said simply. Not because we destroyed their worlds. Because after we defeated them, they chose to surrender so completely that they joined us. They became part of human space. The second species we met tried to be friends, Jiwoo said. But they also tried to study our weapons, to learn our tactics. When we found out we didn't attack them, what did you do? We demonstrated our weapons on an empty solar system, Hyun said. We showed them what we could do. Then we asked if they really wanted to be enemies. They became the founding members of the Federation, Yuna finished. along with every other species that realized it was better to have humans as friends than enemies. Admiral, Kim's broadcast was still reaching every corner of the galaxy. The Vorthak believe that might makes right. Today they will learn what human might truly means, not because we want to hurt anyone, but because some lessons must be taught. War Master Krell's ship was surrounded now by human vessels. Not attacking, just waiting. Like sharks circling wounded prey. What do you want? He finally asked over the communication channel. Captain Jiwoo answered. We want you to go home, Krell. We want you to tell everyone what happened here. We want the galaxy to remember why that old rule exists. And if we refuse? Admiral Kim's voice joined the channel. Then you'll learn why humans conquered death itself during our ancient wars. Not through technology, War Master. Through the simple willingness to do whatever it takes to protect our families. The human fleet began to move, ships taking formation around the disabled Vorthak vessels, not to destroy them, but to escort them home, to make sure the message was delivered. Because sometimes the most terrifying thing about humans wasn't their weapons or their tactics. It was their mercy. The Harmony moved through space like death itself. One moment it was in front of the Vorthak fleet, the next it was behind them. War Master Krell watched his tactical display with growing terror as the human ship appeared to be in 3 places at once. Target the human ship, he screamed at his weapons officer. Destroy them. But every time the Vorthak fired, they hit empty space. The Harmony was already gone, striking from a new angle with weapons that shouldn't exist on a colony vessel. On the bridge of the Harmony, Engineer Hyun Lee smiled as he worked his controls. Holographic projectors are working perfectly, Captain. They think they're fighting 3 ships. Dr. Minho Park watched the tactical display in amazement. How is this possible? During the Unification Wars, Commander Yuna Choi explained while targeting another Vorthak vessel, humans learned to fight dirty. We were outnumbered, outgunned, fighting on multiple fronts, so we got creative. Captain Jiwoo Kim stood calmly in the center of it all. Show them the shadow dance, Hyun. The space around the Vorthak fleet suddenly filled with dozens of human ships, all identical to the Harmony, all moving in perfect formation. The enemy couldn't tell which was real. Impossible, Krell roared. Humans don't have this technology. We don't share all our technology, Jiwoo said over the open channel. Some things are too dangerous for a peaceful galaxy. The first Vorthak escort ship tried to run. It turned away from the battle and fired its engines at full power. The Harmony appeared right in front of it, weapons glowing. Please, the escort ship's captain begged. We surrender. You should have thought of that before threatening children, Yuna said coldly. She fired once. Not to destroy, but to disable. The Vorthak ship drifted helpless in space, its engines dead. The second escort ship fired everything it had at the real Harmony. Plasma cannons, missiles, energy beams that could melt steel. All of it struck the human ship directly. The Harmony didn't even slow down. Our shields are at 98%, Hyun reported. These weapons are like throwing rocks at a mountain. Dr. Park was beginning to understand. Our medical shields. They're not just for asteroid impacts, are they? Medical ships need the best protection, Jiwoo said. We never know what we might find out here. Radiation storms, hostile environments, enemy weapons. The second escort ship was trying to escape now too. But the Harmony was faster. It appeared above the fleeing vessel and fired a single shot. The Vorthak ship spun out of control, its weapon systems destroyed. 2 escorts down, Yuna reported. War Master Krell is alone with his flagship. But Krell wasn't finished. His ship, the Devourer, was 3 times larger than the Harmony. It had weapons that could destroy small moons, and now it was angry. You think you've won, humans? Krell's voice was full of rage. My ship alone can destroy your entire vessel. I'll kill every one of your families. That was when Krell made his final mistake. The space around the Devourer suddenly filled with new ships. Real ones this time, not holograms. Human vessels that had answered the call. Cargo ships with hidden weapons. Exploration vessels armed for war. Even passenger ships that carried more than passengers. This is Captain Deho of the merchant vessel Lucky Star, came a voice over the communications. We heard the call, Jiwoo. How can we help? This is Explorer Ship New Horizon, came another voice. We're carrying a full military crew. Ready for orders. More voices joined in. Dozens of human ships, all revealing their true nature. All ready to fight. Dr. Park stared at the display. How many ships are there? Every human vessel within 100 light years, Tejo said from his navigation station. When humans are threatened, we all respond. War Master Krell was looking at his sensors in disbelief. This is impossible. Humans are supposed to be peaceful traders and explorers. We are, Jiwoo said, until someone threatens our families. The human ships began to move. They didn't attack all at once like the Vorthak expected. Instead, they moved like a school of fish or a flock of birds. Each ship knew exactly where the others would be. They flowed around the Devourer in patterns that made no sense to alien minds. Target them, Krell screamed. All weapons fire. The Devourer unleashed everything, enough firepower to destroy a small fleet. But the human ships danced between the shots like they could see the future. When the Vorthak weapons fired, the humans were already somewhere else. How do they coordinate so perfectly? Krell's weapons officer asked in terror. They're human, Krell whispered. They think like a pack. The human ships struck back. Not with overwhelming force, but with surgical precision. Each shot targeted exactly what it needed to hit. Weapon systems, engine controls, communication arrays. Within minutes, the mighty Devourer was helpless. Shields down, reported Krell's engineering officer. Weapons offline. Engines failing. We surrender, Krell finally shouted. We surrender. The human ship stopped moving. Space became quiet except for the hum of engines. Jiwoo opened a channel to all the Vorthak vessels. War Master, you wanted to teach us about strength. Let me teach you something about humans. What? Krell's voice was small now, frightened. We could destroy your ships right now. All of them. Every Vorthak warrior who came here could die in the next 60 seconds. Krell waited, knowing it was true. But we won't, Jiwoo continued. Do you know why? Because you're weak? No. Because we're not like you. We don't kill for fun. We don't hurt others for pleasure. We fight only to protect what we love. Dr. Park stepped forward. War Master, this is Dr. Minho Park, Chief Medical Officer. Your wounded crews will receive full medical treatment. Your ships will be repaired enough to reach home safely. Why? Krell asked, confused. Because, Jiwoo said, you're going to carry a message back to your people, and to every other species in the galaxy who might have forgotten the old rule. What message? Yuna smiled coldly. That humans are still here. We're still peaceful. We still prefer trade and friendship to war. But, Hyun added, we remember how to fight. And if you threaten our families again, you'll learn why the galaxy was so eager to make peace with us 150 years ago. The human fleet began to disperse. Ships returning to their peaceful missions, cargo to deliver, new worlds to explore, knowledge to seek. But War Master Krell would never forget the sight of dozens of human vessels moving like a single deadly organism. And neither would anyone who heard his story. The journey back to Vorthak space took 5 days. 5 days of human warships surrounding the disabled alien vessels like a funeral escort. War Master Krell sat in his damaged command chair, watching the human fleet move with perfect coordination around his ships. Sir, his communications officer whispered, the humans are broadcasting something on all frequencies. What kind of broadcast? Music, sir. Human music. But it's strange. Krell listened to the transmission. The sounds were unlike anything he'd ever heard. Deep, rhythmic, powerful, like the heartbeat of some massive creature. Like war songs from the dawn of time. On the bridge of the Harmony, Dr. Minho Park was learning more about his own species than he'd ever known. What are they singing? He asked Captain Jiwoo Kim. Old songs? Jiwoo replied. From Earth's ancient wars. Korean battle hymns, Chinese war chants, songs that human warriors sang when they fought impossible odds. But why now? Commander Yuna Choi answered while monitoring the fleet movements. Because the galaxy needs to remember, not just that we can fight, but how we fight. As one people, one voice, one unbreakable will. Engineer Hyun Lee looked up from his displays. Captain, I'm receiving reports from across human space. Every colony, every station, every settlement is broadcasting the same songs. Admiral Soyeon Kim's image appeared on the main screen. Behind her, Jiwoo could see the bridge of her flagship, the Eternal Vigilance. It was the largest warship ever built by human hands, and it had been hidden for over a century. Brother, she said, how are the families? Safe, scared, but safe. The children have been asking questions, and what kind of questions? Why the aliens wanted to hurt them? Why we have all these weapons if we're peaceful people? Admiral Kim was quiet for a moment. What did you tell them? The truth. That sometimes good people have to be strong to protect what they love. Good. They should know. The galaxy is going to be different now. Dr. Park stepped forward. Admiral, with respect, what do you mean different? The Admiral looked at him with tired eyes. Doctor, for 150 years, other species have seen humans as gentle traders and explorers. They thought we were weak, safe, harmless, aren't we? We're peaceful, she corrected. There's a difference. A weak species gets conquered. A peaceful species chooses not to conquer others. On the screens around them, they could see the full scope of the human response. It wasn't just warships. Human colonies that had seemed defenseless were revealing hidden weapons. Trading stations were becoming military bases. Even human schools and hospitals were showing they could become fortresses if needed. The Vorthak attack was broadcast across the galaxy. Admiral Kim continued. Every species saw it. They saw Krell threaten human children. They saw what happened next. War Master Krell was seeing the same broadcasts on his damaged ship. His tactical officer was reading reports with growing fear. Sir, it's not just military ships. Human civilian vessels are revealing weapons. Cargo haulers have missile launchers. Passenger liners have fighter bays. Even their medical ships are armed. Krell felt sick. How is this possible? The Federation treaties? The treaties forbid us from starting wars, came Captain Jiwoo's voice over the communication channel. They don't forbid us from being ready to finish them. You've been lying to the galaxy for over a century. No, Admiral Kim's voice joined the channel. We've been keeping the peace. But peace requires strength, War Master. The strong must choose to be gentle, or gentleness means nothing. They were approaching Vorthak space now. The human fleet had grown larger during the journey as more ships joined the escort. Not to attack the Vorthak homeworld, but to make sure everyone saw them coming. Sir, Krell's navigation officer reported, the entire Vorthak defense fleet is waiting at the system boundary. Krell looked at his sensors. Every warship the Vorthak Empire could gather was there. Hundreds of vessels ready for battle. Are they going to fight the humans? Someone asked. Before Krell could answer, a new transmission came through. It was from Supreme Admiral Vok, commander of all Vorthak forces. Human fleet. Vok's voice was respectful, almost fearful. This is Admiral Vok of the Vorthak Defense Force. We come to escort you safely through our space, Admiral Kim responded. Admiral Vok, we're returning your ships and crews unharmed. We want no conflict with the Vorthak people. Yes, Admiral Kim, we understand. The Emperor wishes to speak with you personally. I will listen to what he has to say. Dr. Park watched this exchange in amazement. The Vorthak fleet isn't here to fight. They're here to surrender. Not surrender, Yuna corrected. To show respect. There's a difference. The human fleet and Vorthak escort moved together toward the Vorthak homeworld. The planet was gray and mountainous, covered with military bases and weapon factories. But as they approached, something unprecedented happened. Every Vorthak military installation powered down their weapons. Every defense platform went silent. Every orbital fortress opened its hangar doors in a sign of complete trust. War Master Krell had never seen anything like it. They're making us defenseless before the humans. No, came the voice of Emperor Drax himself over the communication system. They're showing wisdom. The Emperor's image appeared on screen. He was old for a Vorthak, his gray skin marked with scars from countless battles, but his eyes held something Krell had never seen before. Fear mixed with respect. Admiral Kim, the Emperor said, I offer the formal apologies of the Vorthak Empire. War Master Krell acted without authority when he attacked your civilian vessel. Apologies are appreciated, Emperor Drax, Admiral Kim replied. But words are not enough. What do you require? First, that every Vorthak vessel carry a memorial plaque. A reminder of what happens when someone threatens human families. It will be done. Second, that War Master Krell and his crew spend 1 year serving aboard human medical ships. Let them see what they tried to destroy. Krell wanted to object, but one look from his emperor silenced him. Third, Admiral Kim continued, that the Vorthak Empire share this story with every species in the galaxy. Let everyone remember why that old rule exists. Emperor Drax bowed his head. All terms are accepted, Admiral. But may I ask, will you withdraw your fleets now? Admiral Kim was quiet for a long moment. Around her, the largest human military force in over a century waited for her command. Emperor, let me tell you something about humans. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We don't want to conquer other worlds. We just want to live in peace and raise our children safely. Yes, Admiral. But if anyone threatens our families again, they won't face one colony ship with hidden weapons. They won't face a few dozen vessels pretending to be merchants. The Admiral's voice grew cold as space itself. They will face every human who ever lived, every ship we ever built, every weapon we ever designed, and they will learn that there are worse things than death. She paused, letting that sink in across the galaxy. We will withdraw our fleets now. We will return to our peaceful lives. But the galaxy will remember this day, and the old rule will never be forgotten again. The human ships began to turn away, disappearing back into the stars as quickly as they had appeared. But their message echoed across space, reaching every world, every species, every corner of civilized space. Humans were still peaceful, but they were no longer prey, and the galaxy would never forget the difference.